When life throws shade, turning lemons into lemonade martinis, have you ever had someone try to dim your light? That moment when you're standing in your power and suddenly there it is. That side eye, that dismissive comment, that door closing in your face. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Delilah Ritchie, and let me tell you, this woman is nothing short of revolutionary. She's not just building businesses, she's reconstructing how we think about adversity, authenticity, and what it means to truly thrive in space never designed for our success. Her work has transformed countless lives, creating ripples of empowerment that extend far beyond her immediate community. The real question isn't whether people will try to dim your light. They will. The question that matters, the question that Delilah's life answers so eloquently is, what are you going to do when they do? Because here's what I learned from this remarkable woman. When life hands you lemons, you don't just make lemonade. You make a whole damn lemonade martini, garnish it beautifully, and serve it with a side of watch me thrive anyway. And then you teach others how to do the same. We're not talking about shallow positive thinking here. We're talking about the gritty, sometimes messy, always powerful art of transformation, the kind that changes not just your circumstances, but who you fundamentally are. In 2025, when the real estate market was in absolute chaos, most people were running for cover, not Delilah. While experts were predicting doom and gloom, she was quietly building your local team, focusing on relationships instead of feeding into the fear. While others questioned her abilities as a Black woman entrepreneur, she doubled down on her vision. People have tried to dim my light, question me, degrade what I did because they didn't understand my grind. She shared in a raw Instagram post that resonated with thousands. But here's where it gets fascinating. Instead of letting that doubt crush her spirit, she used it as rocket fuel. She didn't just launch her business, she launched it ahead of schedule. She didn't just survive in that volatile market, she expanded while others contracted. She turned what was meant to harm her into something powerful, dynamic, and good. Let that sink in for a moment. What if the very things meant to break you could become the building blocks of your greatest achievements? That's the first lesson I want to share from my conversation with Delilah. Resilience isn't just about surviving hardship, it's about transforming it into triumph. It's about the alchemical process of turning pain into power. But how? How do we actually do that when we're drowning in doubt, when the criticism feels overwhelming, when the market is crashing around us? For Delilah, it started with refusing to internalize other people's limitations. When voices, both external and internal, told her to wait, to be realistic, to stay in her lane, she chose faith over fear. She chose to believe in her vision even when the evidence suggested caution. And that's harder than it sounds, isn't it? Because those voices can be deafeningly loud. Those doubts can feel so reasonable. Those fears can masquerade as wisdom. But what if the very thing meant to break you becomes a catalyst for your breakthrough? I'm not talking about toxic positivity here. I'm not saying just smile through the pain or offering empty platitudes. I'm talking about something much more powerful, the ability to alchemize adversity into advantage, to see the opportunity hidden within the obstacle. When Delilah faced skepticism about her vision as both an entrepreneur and community leader, she didn't just push through it, she used it to clarify her purpose. The resistance became a refining fire, burning away everything that wasn't essential to her mission. This brings me to the second profound insight from our conversation: the power of embracing your eclectic path. Society loves specialists. We're taught to pick a lane and stay in it. But Delilah's impact comes precisely from refusing to be just one thing. As founder of Journeyman Inc., a social impact organization focused on fostering emotional intelligence across diverse communities, Delilah drew from her background as an educator, her experience as an operations director, and her entrepreneurial spirit to create something entirely new. She designed programs centered on listening circles and heart to heart dialogues. She created environments where people could show up authentically, where vulnerability wasn't just permitted, but celebrated, where emotional intelligence wasn't treated as a soft skill, but recognized as the foundation of all meaningful connection. The result? Participants reported increased self worth, unity, and connection. Organizations saw improved team cohesion. What could have been dismissed as too soft for the business world became a powerful tool for transformation. This is what happens when we stop trying to fit our multidimensional selves into one dimensional boxes. This is what's possible when we bring our whole selves to our work. Your eclectic path, those seemingly unrelated experiences, interests, and skills, isn't a liability. It's your superpower. It's what allows you to see connections others miss, to solve problems in ways others can't imagine, to build bridges where others see only chasms. But embracing this truth requires courage. It means being willing to stand out when it would be easier to blend in. It means trusting that your unique combination of gifts has purpose, even when others question it. As Delilah navigated her career, she faced criticism for not fitting traditional molds or expectations. As a full time entrepreneur and social media manager sharing realistic lifestyle content online, she encountered stereotypes about Black women entrepreneurs that could have limited her vision for herself. Instead, she used transparency, humor, spirituality, and streetwise storytelling to reclaim her narrative and inspire her followers. She built a loyal digital community where people felt seen and valued. She became visible proof that unconventional paths are not just valid, they're vital. And this brings me to the third and perhaps most powerful insight from my conversation with Delilah. Authentic connection fuels empowerment. In a world obsessed with metrics and measurements, with followers and influence, with productivity and performance, Delilah reminds us of something essential. The quality of our connections matters more than the quantity of our achievements. Through Journeyman Inc., she created safe space for authentic connection across diverse communities. She addressed the stigma around vulnerability within professional spaces. She showed that emotional intelligence isn't just a buzzword, it's a tool for fostering belonging and self worth. By leveraging her background in education and coaching, she facilitated trust building environments where people could drop their masks and engage heart to heart. The impact rippled outward, helping shift industry norms toward valuing emotional wellness alongside productivity. This is revolutionary in a culture that often equates vulnerability with weakness, especially for Black women who have historically been expected to be strong at all costs. But what if our strength lies precisely in our willingness to be real? What if our power is amplified, not diminished, when we create spaces where others can be real too? Delilah's work suggests something profound. When we build environments where people feel safe to show up authentically, We don't just improve individual well being, we transform communities. Think about it. How many workplaces suffer from a lack of psychological safety? How many families struggle with communication barriers? How many communities fracture along lines of difference because we haven't created spaces to connect heart to heart? The solution isn't complicated, but it is challenging. It requires us to be brave enough to go first, to share our truth, to listen deeply to others, to create containers where vulnerability is met with compassion rather than judgment. When Delilah faced doubters who questioned her abilities as a Black woman in business, she didn't just prove them wrong by succeeding. She created spaces where others facing similar scrutiny could find support and inspiration. Her willingness to share unfiltered moments made room for others who felt unseen or undervalued. This is how individual transformation becomes collective empowerment. This is how we change not just our own stories, but the larger narratives that shape our culture. So, where does this leave us? What can we do with these insights in our own lives? I challenge you today, inspired by Delilah's journey of turning lemons into lemonade martinis. Identify one area where you felt underestimated or challenged recently. Maybe it's at work, where your ideas aren't being taken seriously. Maybe it's in your creative pursuits, where rejection has left you questioning your gifts. Maybe it's in your community, where your vision for change has been dismissed. Now take one bold action this week, big or small, to flip that script. Launch something ahead of schedule, like Delilah did with your local team. Start an honest dialogue, creating your own version of Journeyman Inc.'s listening circles. Share your truth unapologetically, using transparency and humor to reclaim your narrative. Whatever you choose, let your action be evidence that transformation is possible. Let it remind you and everyone watching that setbacks are not endpoints, they're launching pads. Because here's what I know for sure, after talking with Delilah, your struggles don't define you, your comeback does. When people try to dim your light, you have a choice. You can shrink to make them comfortable. You can burn with resentment, or you can shine anyway, not despite the darkness, but because of it. You can use the contrast to become even more visible, even more impactful. The world doesn't need more people playing small. The world needs your audacity, your creativity, your refusal to be diminished. The world needs you to take those lemons, add your unique ingredients, and create something unexpected and magnificent. So I leave you with this: when life throws shade, don't just endure it, transform it. When doubters question your path, don't just defend it, expand it. When society tries to put you in a box, don't just resist it, redesign it. Because, in the words that capture the essence of my conversation with Delilah, a soft Black woman is a dangerous thing to underestimate. And that's not just true for Black women, it's true for anyone who has been told they're too much or not enough. Your light isn't meant to be dimmed, it's meant to illuminate the way forward, not just for yourself, but for all of us. Thank you